Good evening, everyone. How are you? All right, I need some more energy than that. Good evening, everyone. How are you? We're about to see some of the best companies in this entire country, so we need all the energy we can possibly get. Before we begin, I want to acknowledge the land on which we gather in the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. I also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13, signed with the Mississaugas of the Credit, and the Williams Treaties, signed by the multiple Mississaugas and the Chippewa bands. My name is Abdullah Snowbar. I'm the Executive Director for the DMZ at Ryerson University, and it's my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to the first ever pitchatpalace Canada, and congrats to all the wonderful entrepreneurs that made it here today. Congrats. I want to give a very special welcome to His Royal Highness, the Duke of York, who is the driving force behind this very program and the reason why we are all here today. Your Royal Highness, I'm sure we kept you very busy at the DMZ today. He got a chance to meet even more young founders and entrepreneurs that hopefully will become the next future competitors in this event. So I'm looking forward to that for hopefully next year. I'd also like to welcome some very special guests here with us this evening. First and foremost, the Honourable Elizabeth Dowdeswell, Lieutenant Governor General of Ontario. The Right Honourable David Johnston, Canada's 28th Governor General, and one of the most incredible people in this country who has been a driving force on innovation in Canada. And I'd be remiss to not mention his partner, who has been an absolute mentor to myself, Mrs. Sharon Johnston, who is probably the most genuine and kind and generous person I've ever met in my life. So thank you for all that you folks do. You're both... And I also would like to give a special welcome to the Parliamentary Secretary for the Federal Minister of Innovation, Rami Masai. Rami? And although I can't thank everybody in this room, I know that we have a lot of distinct business leaders, investors, and supporters in general that are all here with us today. So thank you very much for making the time to be here. Some very important news and messages I got to give you all before we get started. When you walked in, I'm sure you were stopped by someone and you were asked if they can scan your app. The pitchatpalace app is a key part of this event, so I want you to know this and keep this top of mind. The app is going to allow you to discover all the pitchatpalace events and the entrepreneurs and the audience involved. So it's going to really help you maybe get a bit more engaged on the networking piece tonight. But it also allows you to connect with some of the founders and the alumni directly who have been part of the program in the past. But most importantly, it's going to give you a chance to vote. And what good is competing if you can't actually vote for the final winner? So make sure we practice our good right of voting and pull up your app when the time is right to vote, and we won't hold it against you if you're holding your phone, so we know what you're doing very well. You'll be able to vote for 3 companies of your liking, the ones that you think are deserving of the top award. But in order to vote, you must have been scanned on the way in. So can I ask, how many of you have not been scanned on the way in? Okay, this is good. We're off to a great start then. So if you're having if you haven't been scanned and you're just not telling us because you're a bit shy to show your hands, it's okay. Just make sure you let somebody from the pitchatpalace team know, and look for them in the audience. They're wearing the teal name cards. Finally, with our focus on connecting and celebrating these entrepreneurs, we want to make sure that you actually engage in social media and make sure that you post and share as much as you possibly can. This is the era of social media, so let's jump on the wagon there. The key social media handles are going to be #pitchatpalace, @pitchatpalace, @the Duke of York, and @Rideau Hall Foundation. And now, I'd like to welcome Theresa Marques, President and CEO of the Rideau Hall Foundation, to say a few words. Theresa.
Thank you, Abdullah. Good afternoon. It's my distinct delight to welcome you all here today to this beautiful setting at the AGO as we celebrate the culmination of pitchatpalace Canada, an incredible showcase of Canadian innovation as well as entrepreneurship. There are many groups, communities, and people who have helped us to arrive at this special moment. The whole experience in this cross-country tour has really reiterated to me that collaboration is a central element to innovation. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge the 6 cities and organizing partners on the ground who brought pitchatpalace Canada to life this spring in remarkably short order. Working in Halifax with Volta, in Whitehorse with Yukon College, in Regina with the Lieutenant Governor's Office, in Waterloo with Communitech, in Vancouver with Simon Fraser University's Beatty School of Business, and in Montreal with McGill, Real Ventures, Tandem Launch, Portage, White Star Capital, and Innovia. Thank you all for your leap of faith and for working with us and really jumping into this cross-country adventure. Your commitment to showcasing entrepreneurship on your home turf and bringing audiences together created both regional as well as national momentum and established such an important foundation for this program for years to come. Thank you. I'd also like to take a moment to express our deepest gratitude to the entire team at BMO Financial Group for your great support of this program in its inaugural year in Canada. We so appreciate BMO's signature support for pitchatpalace Canada and for enabling the Rideau Hall Foundation to offer this tremendous opportunity to Canadian entrepreneurs. Thank you for your commitment to Canadian innovation and entrepreneurship and to opening your doors at the incredible BMO Institute for Learning in Scarborough. Yesterday, all finalists had the chance to gather, create community, take part in a boot camp, learn from mentors, and practice their pitches in advance of today. I hear that perhaps even some of you played football overnight, which is good. We could not have asked for a more welcoming and lovely space, so thank you again. His Royal Highness the Duke of York created pitchatpalace in 2014 in the United Kingdom. Since, it has spread to over 60 countries and established a network that spans the globe to support entrepreneurs. The Rideau Hall Foundation is proud to be the Canadian partner for pitchatpalace and to be bringing this program to the country for the first time. For those who may not be aware, the Rideau Hall Foundation is a national charity established to amplify the values of the Office of the Governor-General, to connect, honor, and inspire Canadians. We operate a range of programming across 4 portfolios. Number 1, to foster Canada's culture of innovation. Number 2, to invest in learning opportunities that promote both excellence as well as equity of opportunity. Number 3, to strengthen Canada's culture of giving and volunteerism. And number 4, to invest in transformative leadership. Arguably, pitchatpalace reinforces all of these goals. However, today we're here to celebrate Canadian entrepreneurship and innovation. After all, it is Canadian Innovation Week, an opportunity to connect, cultivate, and celebrate innovators in this country. I'd also like to thank our founder and chair, the Right Honourable David Johnston, for his work to make innovation a recognized Canadian value, both here at home and abroad, and central to how we see ourselves as citizens. On behalf of the Rideau Hall Foundation, I'd like to congratulate all of the entrepreneurs who have participated in this program from coast to coast to coast, and most particularly the 24 of you who've made it to the finale. Thank you for your perseverance and your ingenuity, and for working to build a better Canada and a better world. And so, after 6 cities, 223 submissions, and the presentations of 24 finalists today, it's my distinct honor now to be able to introduce you to His Royal Highness, the Duke of York, the visionary behind this wonderful global program to support entrepreneurs. In just a few short years, this program has expanded around the world, and we're thrilled to have you with us in Canada today. This is a program that's really reflected both the depth and breadth of Canadian innovation and entrepreneurship. After experiencing so many pitches across Canada these past few months, I'm left with a feeling of profound hope as well as excitement for the Canada that lay before us, and I'm looking forward to cheering you on in your successes to come. Thank you to all, and without further ado, His Royal Highness, the Duke of York.
afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's an enormous pleasure to welcome you to pitchatpalace Canada 1.0. The 1.0 is a very clear indication that we're coming back because what we've seen around Canada is quite extraordinary. And I have to say that if Canada doesn't know what innovation it is creating, then I hope that you will get an impression of what it is doing this evening. These two gentlemen standing on my left here, okay, they are here in order to stop our entrepreneurs from exceeding their time limit. The trouble is that our entrepreneurs have been too well practiced, and so they tend to stop precisely at the 3-minute mark. So I'm giving you fair warning, entrepreneurs, don't trust the clock. We might have actually found a way of making it run either slightly faster or slightly slower. That's just to wind them up. This evening, we are presenting to you 24 amazing Canadian businesses. But in order for us to be in a position to be able to help them and to make those companies grow even more, it is dependent on the audience and your reaction. Now, you may find this quite a strange thing for me to say, but actually, the entrepreneurs have done the hard work because they've presented on more than one occasion, so this evening shouldn't be too difficult for them. This evening, it is about what you, as the audience, do that is going to make the difference. And I cannot tell you how important your participation and collaboration is in this process. Unfortunately, we have to make a selection this evening for one of your Canadian businesses to be chosen to come to the Global Showcase event at the end of the year. That is firstly your responsibility this evening, and that is why you have to vote. And so that is a straightforward audience vote, and I will just tell you who it is that is going to be selected to go to London at the end of the year. But I also need to tell you that of all the businesses, all of them will be winners in their own right over the life of what I would describe as their business, because they are all inside the pitchatpalace alumni organization. So you don't have to worry about the fact that you're choosing only one. You're choosing one to represent Canada at a global showcase event, which will go up against the Chinese, the Australians, from the Middle East, from Africa, and from all the other countries that we have in the system. So what am I looking for from you as an audience this evening? I'm looking for 6 things, and I'll eliminate one of them immediately. All right? And that is investment. It is assumed that these businesses are going to require investment of some description. I'm not wanting any of you to make an instantaneous decision whether you will or you won't invest. What I would like you to do, if you are so minded, is to begin that conversation. Because I, of all people, recognize that if you're going to invest in a startup business, then you're investing in the human being that is running that business. And you can't make a decision without getting to know the person. So that's a given. So what are the other 5 things? In order of ascending priority, I want you to think about whether you know anybody who might, or yourselves, might become a mentor to these entrepreneurs. Because mentorship is something that is absolutely vital to getting these businesses at least on the right pathway. Then you also might know people who could advise them. And by that, I mean lawyers, bankers, accountants, and people of the professional services area. Two distinct areas of advice that these businesses need to know. And the reason they need to know the second one is because I don't mind if people's businesses fail because their idea doesn't work. I do mind if their businesses fail because of a lack of ability in business process engineering. So we need to add value, and that is what we are here to do. We are here to add value. We are all of one company assisting each one of these businesses. Right, the next two things that I'm interested in is access to the supply chains that you either control or have access to, and also distribution systems. So supply chains and distribution systems, because if these businesses can get into those, they will then earn revenue. Earning revenue, whether they make a profit or not, allows the investment discussion to be a lot easier, because pure growth investment is actually a much more difficult thing to come by. The last thing is the connections that you can make. And I can't emphasize this enough. The connections that you can make for these businesses are going to be the thing that they remember about this evening. And oddly, it's the thing that gets fed back to us all the time. Thank you for the connection that you made for us to be able to meet that person or do that thing. So whilst you're sitting listening, you will listen to somebody speak this evening, and you will suddenly go, oh, hang on a minute. I know exactly who they should be put in contact with. Remember that and tell them afterwards, or make contact through the app so that you can actually make that connection for them. Now, each one of these entrepreneurs has an ask of the audience. And it's not of me. I tried to convince them not to ask me the whole time. They've got to ask you, because you don't know what these businesses necessarily do. But I can assure you that the ask, there's somebody in here who can actually answer that ask. If you can answer that ask or can help them in that ask, make contact with them and in the networking session at the end. So they have an ask, and if they don't ask, then our Master of Ceremonies will make absolutely certain that they get their ask out. Because sometimes they let these guys run away with it. Okay. The routine will now proceed. And I've got some other interesting news for you. You're going to have 12 of the 24 will pitch for 3 minutes, and 12, because of time, will pitch for 1 minute. You can vote for any of the 24 to be your representative. There is no restriction. And the reason that we've had to curtail them is that it is purely based on either the complication of their pitch, in the sense that they actually have to have more time to get the message across. So it's a bit more complicated than that. But actually, sitting on seats for an hour or so, we want to get through this, and it needs to go at a fair clip in order to keep the audience's attention. The doors will be locked, so you can't get in, all right? And all I can say is enjoy it. The entrepreneurs have been briefed, and I don't mind putting them under excessive pressure, because if you are put under pressure in cases like this, you perform even better. So thank you for coming. I wish you every success in your deliberations this evening. You can talk to each other about who you want to vote for. This is a collaborative effort, but the voting at the end is actually very, very important. So you've got your instructions. Has anybody not understood their instructions? Good. I learnt that bit from Anne-Marie, and so somebody has to make sure that there's the head mistress. She tells you what to do. Good luck. Thank you very much indeed, everybody.
Thank you very much, Your Royal Highness, for those very inspiring words. I do have to say, part of what you talked about is, supporting entrepreneurs is very much something that hopefully we are becoming a nation that's focusing a lot more on. And I can tell you right now, if we as a country can get behind our entrepreneurs the same way that we got behind the Toronto Raptors on Saturday night, I tell you, we are going to be fantastic. Go Raptors, go. I had to plug that in there. I'm sorry. On another note, it is Canada Innovation Week, and it's important to be able to celebrate that in itself, because it's something that we should be all proud of in terms of where we were to where we got into, what we've created as a country. And if I can ask you all to pull out your notebooks or your cell phones and just take note of one book that you should read for this week to celebrate Canadian innovation, and that's a book called Ingenious, which is written actually by the Right Honourable David Johnston, the former Governor General of Canada. Incredible book that showcases innovation in its form throughout history in Canada, what we've been able to do, how we've been able to support and influence not just Canada but the world as a whole. So thank you very much for putting that in place, because we needed that. But for you folks, make sure you read it, because that's exactly what is going to help us inspire ourselves and hopefully our children. On to the pitch as we go. So I won't go over the instructions again, because His Royal Highness already went over that. So our first pitch will be in the category of business and consumer products and services. As mentioned, they will have 3 minutes to pitch. And the first company will be Coastable Biotechnologies. Over to you.
Raise your hand if you love coffee. Okay, I see a lot of you. Well, and if you are like me, you probably also feel guilty of drinking coffee out of a cup and then throw out that cup and the lid right afterwards. Every year, 16 billion of plastic lids get disposed, and that's just a small portion of the 400 million tons of plastic waste that we produce as humans. Now, in Canada, we like to think that we are eco-conscious, but the truth is, only 11% of our plastic waste get recycled. Why is that? Because recycling is confusing. So how do we solve this plastic problem without changing the consumer behaviors? Good evening, everyone. My name is Chi, and this is my co-founder, Enzo, and we are here with a solution, Coastable.
There are biodegradable alternatives out there, but they require special facilities to process, which most municipalities do not have. Also, they aren't very heat resistant and start to melt at about 45 degrees. Coastable is creating a renewable bioplastic made from crab and shrimp shell waste that is heat resistant, fully functional, and 100% compostable. No special facilities required.
The global packaging market is huge, with $190 billion in revenue generated every year. Within the industry, there's also a growing interest for eco-friendly options. Many nations are now banning single-use plastic, creating even greater demand for our products. Within British Columbia alone, 82 packaging distributors are already selling bioplastics and looking for even better and more functional products. So first, we will sell our bioplastics to these local packaging distributors. And then in the next couple of years, we'll expand our sales network to the rest of Canada and Western US. In terms of supply, we'll get the shrimp shell waste from large shrimp processors in places like Vietnam or China, where the source is cheap and abundant.
We have validated this need on all levels, where the end consumer is asking for sustainable alternatives, but don't have the power to change things. Restaurants hear their customers and want to address their needs, and distributors confirm that green alternatives are their trendiest products. This is our prototype. Our material testing shows that in the dirt, it can degrade in 2 to 4 weeks, but it has a long shelf life. It can also withstand temperatures of up to 107 degrees, which will make it the most heat-resistant bioplastic on the market. Now, We're not just creating a product. We want to start a revolution. We want people to know where their plastic is coming from. So we ask the audience, connect us to eco-friendly social media influencers. On the technical side, we ask to be connected to laboratories and biotech companies in the plastic and polymer space. Thank you.
So audience, you've heard your ask so far. I have a question for you folks. What's been the biggest challenge to date in doing what you're doing?
It's definitely the material testing. Right now, what we still have to get into different manufacturing processes like injection molding and thermoforming, and it's not quite there yet. So we're still doing the material testing and the chemical analysis to be able to do that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next company is Hire, Europa Stein with a 1-minute pitch. Europa, over to you.
Hi, I'm here to disrupt the $100 billion event staffing industry. Why? Well, because every time Jim, the Hilton's banquet manager, needs extra staff, he has to call a brick-and-mortar staffing agency that overcharges him for their unqualified labor. He hates the process, the quality, and overall, his events suffer. I met Jim and hundreds like him while working at Toronto's largest event staffing agency in HR, bookings, and even as a server. And they inspired me to start Hire, a platform that uses AI to connect event organizers with top-rated event staff, eliminating the need for agencies altogether. With clients such as the Westin, Hilton, Delta, we are on track to achieving $2 million in sales in 2019 and are looking for connections to expand to new markets such as the UK. My name is Europa Stein, founder and CEO of Hire, your local hospitality platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Europa. You know, we've been given our orders by His Royal Highness, so we got to make sure the show goes on. Next up, we have Orem Skincare with Elise McCormick and Joanne Sherrard with a 1-minute pitch.
Hi, I'm Joanne Sherrard, co-founder of Orem. The beauty industry is massive. It's quadrupled in the last 5 years and will reach $22 billion by 2024. What's growing right now, though, is natural beauty. The sad part of it all is that the products right now are either not effective or not natural. There's no one to regulate what's actually in them, so we have a lot of fakes and hocus-pocus label claims, until now. Orem builds on the traditional healing factors in subarctic birch water with an exclusive biofermentation process, so it's standardized for essential prebiotics known to the medical community for their wound healing ability. We intend to disrupt the natural beauty industry by marrying the plant-based resources of the North with cosmeceutical efficacy. Our ask is to be connected with Galen Weston Sr., Jean-André Rougeau from Sephora, and others within the luxury space to help us ignite a forest-to-face revolution.
Start counting how many times you might hear this today. Let's see. Next is Kirk Morrison pitching for 1 minute with Krugo.
Hi, my name is Kirk Morrison. I'm with Krugo, the new way to create and manage your social calendar. You can think of Krugo as the digital headquarters for the plans that you're making with your friends and family. We aggregate over 130,000 event schedules around North America and show you the ones that you're most interested based on your interests. If your plans involve travel, we show you the most appropriate condos, hotels, or vacation homes based on the things that you're doing, the people that you're traveling with, and where you're going to be. Krugo is really valuable if you're planning as a group. You can share things that you discover in the app and create a joint itinerary. Most importantly, you can keep track of expenses for everything along the way, so you're not left with a bunch of useless IOUs. We're working with companies like Vivid Seats and Booking.com. We're working to grow our inventory of bookable offerings and content that's available in the app, and we're looking to connect with organizations like Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment Group, Comcast Spectacor, and Cineplex. Thank you.
Our final company in this category with a 3-minute pitch is eOceans, and it's going to be presented by Christine Ward-Page.
The ocean economy is valued at $1.5 trillion per year, providing essential services and products to more than 1 billion people. Plastic pollution, invasive species, illegal fishing, climate change, and many other threats are having significant costs. On the other hand, there is ample opportunity to celebrate. Billions have been spent on conservation. Species have come back from the brink of extinction, fisheries have improved, tourism has value, protected areas have grown. The problem is that although there are 2.5 million marine biologists tracking these changes, the process of ocean science is very slow. Every marine researcher will tell you to better prepare society and protect the oceans, we need to move faster, we need to collaborate, and we need more data. Our knowledge cannot continue to lag years to decades behind business and ocean change. I'm Christine Wardpage, PhD, ocean explorer, and founder of eOceans. I have 25 years' experience as an ocean researcher and have specialized in crowdsourcing ocean data. For example, one species, manta rays, support a $140 million tourism industry in just 10 communities. So alarms rang when they started to disappear, and I was solicited to help. By crowdsourcing observations from 38 countries, we revealed illegal fishing threats, which got them onto the endangered species list. In this case, crowdsourcing generated more than $60 million worth of data in less than 8 months. It helped me get the job done, and it saved years of research time. I founded eOceans with the belief that future oceans can teem with life and be radically more exciting and valuable than they are today if we make faster and more collaborative discoveries. eOceans is building a software subscription solution and mobile app for the global community of coastal governments, marine biologists, tourism industry, and tourism operators to crowdsource data, unlocking more than $18 billion per year in research time. Our web-based version has already gathered more than 2 million observations in 90 regions, and our vision is to provide insights with more than 10 million observations per day. We're on the move towards real-time discoveries that matter to business, society, and the oceans. For my ask, I would like to meet visionary leaders like Wendy Schmidt, Sir Richard Branson, and Rose Marcario, who are committed to supporting future-looking businesses. eOceans is building a SaaS for this purpose, and I would love the opportunity to share our vision and get advice to taking it to the world. For the oceans, for us.
Thank you, Christine. Can you just talk a bit more about the financing? And are you looking to bootstrap? Are you looking to do some fundraising? What are you?
Right now, I'm looking for mentorship with the idea of, I've been bootstrapping, and so mentorship with mission-driven people with the idea of investment to have return. So.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So our next category is fintech and blockchain with one company pitching. We have Brenna Casterly and Tornik Nashensville of Emperor Investments. Over to you.
If millennials had $250,000 to invest, who knows, they would have access to financial experts and tailored portfolios. But what happens in reality? They buy generic mutual funds and ETFs. We built a platform which can construct pure stock portfolios that are unique to each individual. That's our differentiator.
I bet you're wondering how we're different than Wealthsimple. We are in 3 ways: pure stock portfolios, performance, and personalization. Our custom-built portfolios have yielded a return of over 16% year over year for over a decade. We are growing on average 52% month over month. We believe that everyone deserves the right to have access to tailored, pure stock portfolios and advice. This is a democratization of the investment world.
Our ask today is for connections with the traditional wealth space to help us with scale and distribution. We are Emperor Investments.
Listen.
So far, so good. Next, we have media and education technology with one company pitching. We have Camilo Rivera and Stella Lee of Aprendo.
Our jobs are under threat. Advances in technologies are displacing many jobs while creating many others. To prepare for this change, we need to retrain and upskill. Hello, my name is Dr. Stella Lee, the Chief Learning Officer at Apprendo. To address this challenge, Apprendo offers a smart learning marketplace. It maps competencies to a predefined set of occupational standards. It then connects content creators to organizations looking for learning resources. Currently, we have over 40 organizations using our platform. Today, I'm asking for the opportunity to prove the value of Apprendo to organizations such as the UK Skills Sectors Councils. How? By offering a platform for free so we can get prepared for the future of work. Thank you.
I promise we'll try to find somebody that you guys can maybe... The next category is cybersecurity, data management, and analytics. Our first company in this category is Proof, with Ben Sanders for 3 minutes. Ben.
Hi, I'm Ben, the CEO of Proof, and we're a perfect fit for pitchatpalace because we're digitizing government. We're solving the most central problem in government, the biggest source of red tape. We're streamlining approvals. Because here's the problem. Every time a decision is made in government, whether to approve a small travel claim or something as big as the budget, dozens of people have to sign off on it, and the whole process is stuck on paper. Proof is cutting out all that red tape by digitizing the entire workflow. Now you can instantly track the status of every approval, speeding everything up. It's introducing transparency and accountability, unlocking data to make better decisions, and saving tens of millions of dollars each year. That's important because government spends a lot of money, 1/3 of global GDP each year. And so for every dollar that we save by cutting red tape, that's a dollar we can invest in the programs that really matter. There's a lot of people in government who are struggling with approvals every day. In Canada and the US alone, there are 13 million of them. And because they're paying us $50 per user per month, that means approvals in government in North America is an $8 billion opportunity. But we're doing something extraordinary in government. We're closing big deals fast. 8 months ago, we launched a proof of concept with the government of Yukon. Now we're rolling out government-wide. Approvals are so ubiquitous in government that in some cases, 90% of entire departments are using our platform every week. That means we're poised to become, in government, the most widely adopted software after the operating system. But we're not just in the Yukon anymore. We're working with governments at all levels across Canada. That first deal in the Yukon took 8 months, but then we signed Winnipeg and Nova Scotia, governments that are twice as big, and we did it in half the time. And then bigger governments still, like Toronto and Canada, in half the time again. How do we do it? We've got this amazing team that's all worked in tech and government. I'm a Waterloo engineer. I helped co-found 2 Y Combinator-backed companies in the Valley, including Clearbank. And I've been passionate about government my whole life. In high school, I job shadowed my mayor and premier, and then I worked as a page in the House of Commons, and I even ran for MP in the last federal election. Luke has worked with 50 governments around the world. He's an engineer who did his master's thesis on government procurement. And Wes has done PhD work in cryptology and worked for the Canadian and US Defense Departments. This month, we graduated from both Creative Destruction Labs and Techstars. And this week, we're closing our latest round of funding. Now, government is something that's fundamentally important in all of our lives, but it needs an upgrade. That's where we need your help. Please introduce us to government leaders in your communities. And together, let's finally bring government into the 21st century. Please. One more time. Thank you.
Ben, come on back. We have a question. I like that. His last word was century, and it went on for a good long second. So he talked about being able to optimize approvals, and that's what your technology is doing. What's the next thing that you're hoping to do with your business?
Cool. So Canada is just the start. We've already been approached by governments in Estonia, as far as Dubai, the United States, and the UK. And tomorrow I'll be in Ottawa, where Canada is hosting the Open Government Partnership Summit. There are 80 different countries that are coming, and I believe Canada can really be a leader in this space. And one more thing quickly, we started with internal approvals for people in government, But for those of you citizens and businesses on the outside, we're going to cut red tape for you too. So instead of downloading PDF applications and faxing them in, now you'll be able to push send on your phone and they'll automatically land in our platform.
Fantastic. Thank you. I think we're all good for less red tape. Next up, we have Darren Gallup of Security with 1 minute to pitch. For you.
Hello, my name is Darren Gallup, and I'm the CEO of Security. B2B companies can no longer ignore information security. Your customers are demanding that you take all measures possible to protect their data. And hiring a consultant to offload this simply doesn't work. You end up spending all your money on the consultant with nothing left to purchase the tools you actually need to secure your customers' data. Today, our customers are using Security to protect them from some of the biggest threats out there. So basically, our solution is a software as a service solution that essentially replaces the consultant for a fraction of the price. This leaves you with the resources to actually secure your business. Now, this is a really interesting space, and we're really excited about it. So here's what I'm really looking for today. We have a lot of customers. We've just closed over $500,000 in revenue only 3 months after launching our product. Here's where we need help. We're ready to scale. We want to connect to global networks of small to medium-sized businesses to help them secure their growth. So if you know any that can help us, or you can make any connections, please help us out. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Darren. Next, we have pitching for 1 minute is Paul Dowerwald of Clock. Paul.
Raise your hand if you've ever had to submit a timesheet. Clock is for you. Clock is the virtual assistant for your timesheets. Like the Duke of York's private secretary, the gracious Ms. Amanda Thirsk, Clock takes care of all the details, remembering the files you worked on, the emails you sent, and the appointments in your calendar. Clock organizes your work by project, remembering even the 6-minute blocks that would have fallen through the cracks. Clock's algorithm learns. It is intuitive to train, and unlike our competition, predictable in its results. Like His Royal Highness's private secretary, Clock strives to make your life easier so you can be more effective at the work you love to do. If you hate timesheets and want them to go away, come talk to me. Your life is about to become so much happier.
Thank you very much. Our next category is Robotics AI and VR. We have Daniel McCain of Precision AI pitching for 3 minutes. Daniel.
Hello, my name is Daniel McCann. I am here from Precision.ai. We are an artificial intelligence and robotics company that is working to solve some of the key food security challenges of the 21st century. So I've put a quote up on the board here. It's a long quote, you don't have to read it all, but the main takeaway is that in 30 years, we're going to need to produce 70% more food than we are today. But this is just the beginning of the problem. We have an increasing population, but there's a fixed amount of farmland in the world. It doesn't change. So do the math. That means that if we want to feed the world, we're going to have to grow food smarter. We can't continue to rely on the inefficient ways we've done things for hundreds of years. We need to optimize every square inch of land and every plant to produce maximum yield. Now, what's the most inefficient part of the food production process? It's actually people. People need to eat. People need to sleep. People need to spend time with loved ones. And we want to do more of this, not less of this. We can't relegate the farmers to use all their free time to feed the world. But machines, on the other hand, they can work 24 hours a day. They can work 7 days a week. They can work at night when people can't work. They have the ability to optimize every single plant on that field. Where the farmer can make decisions at the per acre level of precision, machines can make it at the per plant level of precision, optimizing yields to the maximum effect. So one of the things that we do to solve this problem is we actually use artificial intelligence. We've put it into a platform. We actually create artificially intelligent drones that autonomously survey fields in real time, so swarms of drones that hover over a field, and they can actually see, using hyperspectral cameras, they can see into each individual plant and see what that plant needs. Does it need more fertilizer? Well, we spray it with nitrogen. Does it need more moisture? Well, we add some water to it. Is it a weed? Well, we can actually precision spray just a microdose of spray, just the minimum amount of spray necessary to control that weed and only that weed. Farmers no longer need to have the $250,000 sprayers and blast everything with chemical, which is environmentally problematic and also very costly. Our solution, because they're low-cost drones, actually is substantially more affordable for the small farmer, which allows them to compete with the large farming operations. What we actually intend to do is we intend to create something called the Spray as a Service, which means that a farmer can phone us up and allow our company to take care of their entire crop protection needs for less than the cost of just the chemical they're using today. Our ask today is to get introduced to the C-level executives of the major chemical companies, Bayer, BASF, DuPont, because what we want to do is we want to transition from this idea of chemical-based crop protection to artificial intelligence-based crop protection for food for your family, your children, and your children's children in a healthy, chemical-free way. Thank you.
Daniel, don't go anywhere. Come back, Daniel.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Come on back. I have a question for you. You can't go that far.
Oh, yeah.
Can you just tell us a bit about the stage that you're at right now?
So right now we're doing actions so we can actually achieve our long-term vision.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next category is Consumer and Industrial Internet of Things. Up first, we have Valerie Song with Ava Technologies with a 1-minute pitch. Valerie.
A few years ago, I was making pizza with my niece, and she told me that she thought tomatoes grew in grocery stores. And that was the day I made it my mission to reconnect people back to their food by growing it. But we believe that anyone should have access to the freshest ingredients all year round, even if you don't have the space, the skills, or the environment to do so. So we invented Ava Bite, a smart indoor automated garden that helps anyone get growing anything, anywhere. And it works like an espresso machine. So all you have to do is plant your pre-seeded and nutrient-loaded pods into the garden, and away it grows. We pre-sold these gardens, and in a little over a month, we raised over $200,000 of sales, and that gave us the ability to raise some venture capital to launch to the US and Canada. And we're really excited to be a made-in-Canada product, and we are looking now for help to grow and scale into foreign markets. So if that is you, and you have experience growing big brands into the public markets, let us know, and please help us get growing. Thank you.
Thank you, Valerie. Up next, we have Kazim Zandi of OSC with a 1-minute pitch. Kazim.
Hi. Like any other moving vehicles, drone and self-driving cars need to be navigated. And the sensors that do that are called navigation sensors or motion sensors. A drone of this size usually uses sensors of this size. These sensors are small, low power, not expensive, but they are not accurate and reliable enough, causing the drone to crash. There are other products in the market that are very accurate, but they are bulky, power-hungry, very expensive, and not reliable as well. That's why we have come up with an integrated solution where all components are integrated on a single chip. Compared to the accurate product, our product is 50 times smaller, it uses 8 times less power, is up to 30 times cheaper. It has the same accuracy and is 3 times more reliable because of the integration. Here we are asking for an introduction to the big car manufacturers like a GM or drone manufacturer like DJI. My name is Kazim Zandi, and I'm the CEO of OSCP. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kazim. The next category is health, fitness, and medical technology. This is actually our biggest category tonight. Exciting. First, we have Dr. Bill Wong and Neil Dugal of iMerge Medical pitching for 3 minutes. Over to you.
Thanks. Thank you. Your Royal Highness, judges, and colleagues, hello, bonjour. My name is Bill Wong, and this is Neil Dugal. We're both practicing neurosurgeons and founders of iMerge. We have a solution that can bring cutting-edge medical care to patients in rural communities, armed forces in the field, and developing countries. iMerge is the first and only portable, easy-to-use, and cost-effective medical GPS. It fits on the palm of your hand.
How many of you here used a GPS to find your way here today? Well, in the medical world, an image guidance system is like a GPS for physicians. It helps us accurately target structures deep within the body. It increases the accuracy of procedures, decreases complication rates, and saves lives. But there's a problem. As you can see, traditional image guidance systems on the left side of the screen are large and expensive, and they're confined to the operating room in hospitals. It's summer, it's cottage season. What would happen if you were traveling in a remote area and suffered a terrible car crash? Well, you would get urgently airlifted to the nearest neurosurgical center, and a catheter would be placed into your brain to help lower the pressure. Unfortunately, there's a 50% chance that you won't make it there in time to survive. As neurosurgeons, we face this situation far too often. And this barrier to access isn't just unique to rural communities. It's equally relevant to developing countries and to our troops in the battlefield. My background's in engineering, and together we set out to create a system with the initial intent of helping ER physicians perform these type of life-saving procedures at the front line. Our system uses a set of steerable intersecting lasers that come together to form a trajectory line and help accurately target structures deep within the brain. When we showed this to our colleagues, they quickly realized that we could use this anywhere in the body for any procedure. Here's what we've accomplished so far. We have filed 12 patents and have an issued patent on our flagship product. We have developed a prototype and demonstrated its accuracy and its cost effectiveness. Our unit costs only $200, while traditional image guidance systems over here cost over $500,000. The image guidance space is valued at $3 billion globally and is growing. We've also attracted a team of experts and world-class engineers poised to help us further develop this, and we have raised $400,000 in seed funding. So here's our ask. Using your connection in the Commonwealth to put us in touch with funding agencies and programs, and particularly in the defense space, to help us complete the development of this product and bring it to market. Our vision is to democratize this kind of cutting-edge technology and help save millions of lives. Having your support would be an enormous step forward. Thank you very much.
Bill, you just talked about with your ask in regards to introductions to the actual defense space. Can I ask, what's the military application of your product?
Yeah, so if you take the example of the Middle East, if their troops are on a peacekeeping mission and they suffer a severe head injury from, say, an IED blast or a gunshot wound, they would get airlifted to the forward operating base where they would be assessed, and then they would get airlifted to the naval ship parked in the Gulf. Depending on who's on board, it's often a general surgeon, but may or may not have a neurosurgeon on board. They may have to then further get airlifted to Germany. So that could be a delay anywhere from 2 to up to 8 hours, where that could make a difference between life or death.
Yeah, that's really neat. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We are moving fast, folks. We are actually more than halfway through our pitches. Next, no stranger, we have next Dougal of Synergy Disc Replacement for 3 minutes. Neil.
Thank you. Well, hello, bonjour again. My name is Neil Dougal, and I'm here with Steve Farlow, Chair of the Board of Synergy Disc Replacement, Inc. What is Synergy Disc? It is the first and only artificial disc that provides movement and alignment to the spine. Why is that important? Because by providing alignment, we can increase the addressable patient population and market by 50%. The spinal implant market is valued at $8 billion globally. Everyone in this room will have pain from a degenerated disc. If you needed surgery, there is no perfect option. We could do a fusion, which could correct your alignment but limit your movement. Or we could do one of the current artificial discs, which give you movement but sacrifices alignment. The Synergy disc provides a solution by giving you the alignment of a fusion with the movement of an artificial disc. I am a practicing neurosurgeon, and in 2002, I was given the incredible honor of being selected to be the first surgeon in North America to perform a disc replacement. Well, it didn't go that well because there was a problem with alignment. So, working with a group of brilliant engineers, we set out to solve the problem of alignment and created a new geometry. And in 2009, we performed the first clinical case using the Synergy disc. Since then, here's what we've accomplished. 55 issued patents, 550 worldwide surgeries with no adverse events. We have revenue in the UK, Australia, and Germany. We have approval for our FDA trial. We've attracted the world-class leaders with an innovative pipeline, and we've managed $14 million in angel funding. In 2018, a transformational event occurred for the company. The third largest global spine company in the world validated our technology and became our second largest shareholder. Why did they take interest in Synergy Disc? Because we solved the problem of alignment, which is the root cause of many people's spinal challenges. We have momentum, but we face some challenges. Grow the company and scale the company globally. Start and finish an FDA trial with 175 patients, despite having done 550 patients worldwide. How can you help? Here is our ask. Connect us with the medical community and the decision makers at the NHS and healthcare investment leaders that will help us realize our vision of being the first global Canadian spine company. Thank you for hearing our story.
Thank you very much, Neil. You mentioned this in the beginning, but why does your product increase the market by 50%?
So 50% of people in the room have a military posture. They're straight and upright. And if that person, and you know when your mom said stand up straight, well, there was a reason for that. By having proper alignment, you can have an artificial disc. But 50% of us have an alignment like this. And if you put an artificial disc in, it makes it worse. Just take your head and move it forward for a few minutes. You can see you'll engage all the muscles in your neck and you'll get neck pain. Synergy disc is the only disc that can treat 100% of patients.
Amazing. Thank you, Neil.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Our next 1-minute pitch is Lumica Health with Sean Hazen presenting. Sean.
Thank you. The healthcare system is broken, and Canadians only have so many options to access healthcare. 47% of Canadians go to the emergency room knowing that they don't have an emergency. They simply have no other options. I'm Sean Hazen, founder and CEO of Lumica Health. Lumica Health is a virtual healthcare network that was founded over 6 years ago within one of Canada's leading industrial and occupational health and safety companies. Lumica Health is a virtual healthcare platform that connects people and businesses to our team of doctors, specialists, and mental health care professionals within minutes, 24/7. We are also, and deliver prescriptions to your home and your office. We are also proud to announce that we've partnered with the Canadian Red Cross in an effort to deliver healthcare and champion, our ask is to meet with Dr. Tedros of the World Health Organization to put healthcare in the hands of every human. Thank you guys very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Next, with a 3-minute pitch, we have Peter Whitby of O2 Canada. Peter.
Hello, everybody. My name is Peter, and I'm the founder of O2 Canada. Breathing fills our lungs with oxygen, our hearts with courage, and our minds with focus and determination. When people breathe better air, they perform better and live better. The problem is that 91% of people on Earth breathe polluted air every single day. According to the World Health Organization, air pollution is responsible for 8 million deaths a year. I myself have experienced air pollution in China, India, and South Korea. In China, the smog was so thick, I couldn't see my hand in front of my face. In India, I've spoken with parents that sleep with guilt at night because they have to raise their kids in such a polluted environment. O2 Canada is on a mission to help people breathe clean air. We work at the Air Pollution Research and Innovation Lab at the University of Waterloo. Through science, technology, and design, we've engineered a personal breathing space called the O2 Curve. It creates a perfect seal around your nose and mouth and outperforms 3M. To date, we have helped people breathe clean air in 4 continents in 19 countries. We donated masks in California and British Columbia during the forest fire seasons. This girl's family, this is in Sonoma Valley in California. Their family home was burned down. They were literally sifting through the ashes, looking at their belongings. We're on a mission to help people breathe clean air, but we need your help. Right now, we're modeling a developing world business model whereby we give the mask away at cost and send filters to our customers monthly. We have orders in India, but we cannot fulfill them. So my ask to you is this: if you have friends, family, or business connections in India to help us find the right distribution partner, I'd like to speak with you. And to everyone in the audience, I have another ask that's more specific. We'd love to meet with the Mayor of the City of London, Sadiq Khan. Sadiq Khan has made London a key battleground in the global fight against air pollution. He spent hundreds of millions of dollars installing electric buses, creating bike lanes, and installing pollution sensors around the city to clean up the air quality. It's been a pleasure to share my story with you. I want to welcome you all to join us on our journey to breathe life in. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. And on the journey to breathe life in, I want to ask you a question. What's next in your product roadmap?
Yeah, so we're very proud of the Curve. It's more of a consumer-based product, but we were approached by the Canadian Armed Forces, and they're dealing with lead poisoning amongst our soldiers. So they fire so many rounds that they're actually inhaling their lead. So much lead, it brings up their levels. So we're designing a respirator, which we call the tactical respirator, that creates a perfect seal, and they can use it in operations and in training. And also working on a medical mask as well to make it easier to accept oxygen.
Okay, yeah. Thanks, Peter. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you. Excellent.
Thanks, guys.
And for another 3-minute pitch, we have Sarah Goodman of Vital Signs. Sarah.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sarah Goodman. I'm the co-founder and COO of Vital Signs, and we develop products that help people live longer and healthier lives. It's become known that individuals have both a chronological age, which is how long you've been alive, and a biological age, which is how fast or slow the body is aging on the inside. These ages could vary greatly, but until recently, there was no way for an individual to measure, track, and reduce their biological age that was based on science, easy to use, and accessible. Our flagship product is iHeart Internal Age. It's a fingertip device and a mobile app that determines a user's internal age in 30 seconds based on aortic stiffness. The stiffness of the aorta, the biggest blood vessel in the body that lays right here, is proven to be a marker of risk of developing heart disease, risk of developing dementia, and risk of death from all causes, which sounds very morbid, but it's reversible with positive lifestyle choices. Aortic stiffness is a total body health metric, but there was no way for individuals to test it before iHeart because the only way to measure it was through a $25,000 medical device. Our team of doctors and scientists developed patent-pending methods to calculate aortic stiffness from just the pulse in the fingertip, allowing us to develop a tool that was easy to use, cost-effective, and could help people worldwide improve health. Now, this is a consumer product. It's a preventative health tool that's supposed to be put in the hands of people to prevent disease before they get sick. And to consumers, aortic stiffness isn't very exciting. And that is precisely why we communicate aortic stiffness as internal age. In my years of testing, I have yet to meet one person who doesn't want to know their internal age and doesn't want to reduce it. We launched our minimum viable product in 2016 and now have over $1.6 million in sales revenue, an average 70% year-over-year growth rate, and over 20,000 users. And this was all done with less than $500,000 in sales revenue. Our target market is baby boomers, and this market's really big. Baby boomers are projected to spend over $15 trillion by the year 2020. The Financial Times has reported that the longevity industry is going to be the biggest business of the 21st century. Our ask here at pitchatpalace is to be introduced to potential partners who want non-medical consumer health tech to be placed in the hands of individuals to help improve population health. For example, the NHS just made a call out for preventative health tools, and we think iHeart is a great fit. It would be humbling, and I'd be so proud to represent Canada on the pitchatpalace world stage to represent homegrown Canadian health tech that can help people all over the world improve their health. So I'm Sarah. Come get tested after. Thanks.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm not sure if the audience is curious, but I'm really curious to know if there's a potential to move your product completely to software.
Yeah, so we had to develop this device because there was nothing on the market like a smartphone that had sensors that were good enough to use our patent-pending methods to attain the aortic stiffness and internal age metric, but now that's changing. So we're starting to test certain phones that we can put our IP into and then offer a subscription-only product to people using different, their own third-party hardware all over the world. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I can ask a ton of questions, but I've been given my rules as well. One question, that's it, no more. Next is Catherine Molson with a 1-minute pitch for Inject Technologies. Catherine.
80% of all our healthcare providers suffer needle stick injury. 1.3 million deaths, 21 million people with hepatitis yearly. 16 billion syringes are distributed globally. However, recycling continues to be unresolved. Mass immunization campaigns must ensure that children and healthcare workers are not subject to greater risk. Inject is the solution. Our easy-to-use safety syringe needle remains inside the device, deploys during injection, locks after dose. Inject is 65% faster absorption, no drugs wasted. We can increase coverage, addressing supply shortages. Minimum components to assemble, scalable for high-volume production, cost-efficient for mass immunization campaigns. Our ask tonight is that we are connected to pharmaceutical and device corporations. We ask the audience to vote Inject. Thank you.
So close, so close. Next, we have Andre Bertram of Helpware with a 3-minute pitch. Andre.
Hi, I'm Andre Bertram, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Helpware. And we build a continuous clinical-grade ECG monitor worn on a patient's bicep. But the story of Helpware doesn't actually start with me. It starts instead with my co-founder, Frank, and more importantly, his mother, Lan Nguyen. You see, Lan has vision problems and is hard of hearing, and as a new immigrant to Canada from Vietnam, her English is quite poor. One day when Frank got home from school, he found his mother at the bottom of the stairs with a broken leg. But when they got to the emergency room, they determined that she hadn't just slipped and fell, but it actually had a cardiac event at the top of the stairs. But a lack of data from that event occurrence meant she would never be treated appropriately. We quickly learned that this isn't just an issue for Frank, that every 7 seconds, another patient dies globally due to heart-related illness, but for the 17 million patients who require monitoring for their complex diseases, the existing gold standard is a Holter monitor. It's a 12-lead one-electrode system where adhesives are placed across the patient's chest and back to get a better understanding of the voltage difference across their heart. This tells a cardiologist not only when the heart is beating, but how it's beating, so they can make a prognosis. So that's why we developed this, the HeartWatch, a continuous clinical-grade ECG monitor worn on a patient's bicep that can detect anything from a minor heart condition, like atrial fibrillation or a heart palpitation, all the way up to a severe event. If the device sees a minor event while it's on, it contacts your regular clinician so that we can tailor your treatment plan to you. But if we see a lethal event with the device on, we contact emergency medical services directly through an onboard SIM card. We transfer your previous medical history, a summary of the event occurrence, and your GPS location, so you're treated faster and more effectively by emergency medical services. Helpware's partnered with St. Michael's Hospital through the Biomedical Zone, Bayer Pharmaceuticals through Grants for Apps. We're a Y Combinator alumni, and we even got all 6 dragons on Dragon's Den. After raising a seed round at the end of 2017, we hired a team of 14 people full-time who are just as crazy about heart-related illness as we are. My lead engineer developed the printed circuit boards for the International Space Station's Canada arm. My chief medical officer, Dr. Derek Exner, is the Canadian Research Chair in Cardiac Clinical Trials and one of the world's leading experts in cardiac sudden death. My co-founder is the Ascend Innovator of the Year, and I'm a Teal Fellow. Together, we've attained an ITA for the right for first sale in Canada. We filed FDA approval, and we'll be deploying in our first 7 hospitals across this fine city at the end of the summer. Today, we're looking for connections to individuals on the boards of hospitals, healthcare systems, and telemedicine companies so that we can begin saving the lives of patients all around the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Andre. Question around building the business. You've
Yeah.
seen exponential growth over the past short period. What's been the hardest thing so far in building the actual startup?
Yeah, so by far, when it comes to a hardware medical device company, the hardest things are clinical validation and regulatory approvals. So now over the last 2.5 years, we've designed our technology with St. Michael's Hospital to not only what a patient needs, but from a clinical perspective to what a doctor requires as well. We've already attained our ITA for Health Canada, and we just filed for the FDA, so we'll be approved by the end of the summer.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I told you folks it's a big category, lots of companies in this one. So with another 3-minute pitch, we have Pierre with Neurora Biotech. Pierre, over to you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Pierre Vedenes. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Neura. We recently graduated from the CDL program, closed our first seed, multiplied it by 3 things to do non-dilutive programs, so government support, thank you, Canada, and are now working with neurotechnology experts around the world to develop our technology. Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, epilepsy, addiction and depression. A third of us in this room will suffer from a brain disease in their lifetime. And none of us have heard of a pill we can simply take to make it disappear. This doesn't exist. This is exactly why brain-machine interface, also called pacemakers for the brain, bring with them tremendous hope to alleviate some of the symptoms, but also potentially cure the disease. One big problem remains, though, which is how do we properly record from the brain and how do we stimulate safely? We have identified the perfect niche market to solve this problem: epilepsy surgery. Epilepsy is one of the most common neurological disorders, but a third of the patients are refractory to medications. The drugs do not work. And the medically proven best option is a surgery. But the neurosurgeon needs to come in and basically scoop out part of the brain that are triggering the seizures. But it's a huge unmet need, and this is why. Imagine, you're patients, you go into the hospital, they cut open your skull, put sensors in, close the skulls, 15 to 20 wires that sticks out, connect to a 30-foot cable that go to a machine, an EEG, and record your brain activity, and you stay there in a week for 2 to 3 weeks in a bed. It's a horrible process because at the end, all we really hope is that hopefully they're going to remove the right part of the brain that is triggering the seizures. We change that. We have microsensors about a quarter diameter from your hair. So small, they can be inserted less invasively, but they also pick up more brain signals, better quality, more mapping of the brain. This has been tested in animal models, and this is also where most of our IP relies. But then we also integrate these sensors into a brain monitoring platform that transfers everything wirelessly, allowing in-home monitoring. Then we can improve, basically, the diagnostic process for the neurologists and the neurosurgeons by improving the quality of life of these patients. We are working with world leaders like MIT, Harvard Medical School, and are supported by business advisors. The opportunity ahead is massive. It's a $9 billion market right now, and it's actually the fastest growing field in medical devices. I'm here in front of you today because we are looking for support in better understanding our go-to-market strategy, especially in the US, but also because we are looking for first-in-human trials. We are working in Canada, but we will also love to work in the UK. We are also preparing our next round of financing that will start by the end of this year, which will help us basically with a commercialization strategy and developing our product to the next stage. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pierre. You came to Canada to build this. Now you're trying to go to Buckingham Palace. What's the value if you were to win?
Well, I think the NHS system is one of the most, the better best organized system in Europe. Originally from France, actually would love to go back. But really, I think we like to put our eggs in different baskets. And I think proving different jurisdictions that is actually working and engaging with more experts around the world. We work with people in Australia, work with people in Canada, in the US. We have no one in Europe. So really looking for someone there. Thank you.
We have a lot of companies who come from France to the DMZ in Toronto. I always have to ask them, what brought you to Toronto to build a company? And the most common answer I always get, love. There we go. Love conquers all, right? There we go.
Can't help it.
Thank you, Pierre. Appreciate it. Next, we have Proskita with Alistair Smith with a 1-minute pitch. Alistair.
When it comes to sport performance technology, people tend to think the only market is the elite athlete, like Olympians. But the much bigger market are the 33 million endurance athletes that are willing to pay to improve their performance. In fact, I can guarantee that there's more than a few of you out there with at least $2,000 of sensors on your bikes at home. And let me tell you what you probably already know. You're drowning in a sea of data, graphs, and charts. We're here to help. Our software automatically cuts the wheat from the chaff so that you can focus on the areas where you can improve in real time. Proskita is doing this with 7 national teams, including the Norwegian cross-country ski team and the Swiss alpine ski team. We're teaching our system with the world's best athletes and coaches so that you can benefit. Our ask is for an introduction to a progressive cycling team so that they can spend less time sifting through their data and improve faster. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Up now, we have Amr Abdel Gawad with a 3-minute pitch for nerve technology. Amr?
Thank you, Abdullah. Good evening, everyone. I'm Amr Abdul Jawad, the Chief Operating Officer and co-founder of Nerve, and we are on a mission to make surgeries safer. Growing up, my co-founders and myself witnessed firsthand the detrimental effects of what gastrointestinal leaks can have on patients. As we went through our engineering undergrads, we joined forces and we became determined to make sure that no patient loses their life because of an undetected leak. Every year, just under 2 million high-risk abdominal surgeries are performed in the United States. And typically with those surgeries, the surgeon would remove portions of the GI tract and then reconnect them once again using staples and sutures. Unfortunately, however, that staple line could get compromised and content from inside of the GI tract can leak into the abdominal cavity. Now, this is very dangerous and difficult to detect. In fact, on average, 8% of patients end up suffering from leaks, with each leak incident costing the healthcare system roughly $30,000. That adds up to a total of $3.6 billion every year. The current standard of care utilizes a combination of imaging, laboratory investigations, nurse follow-ups, and even reoperating on a patient once again to determine if a leak happens. Unfortunately, however, due to the late detection of those leaks, we end up losing thousands of lives every year. At Nerve, we're developing the first implantable sensor that can identify a leak as soon as it occurs and reports that information to the physician. The device is integrated into a catheter, allowing it to be easily removed in an outpatient setting a few weeks after the surgery. Our patent-pending technology will be sold to hospitals for $400 a unit, and given the fact that we can detect leaks within minutes, this represents 80% in cost savings to hospitals, which can be attributed to decreased length of stay, as well as decreased cost of treatment. Today, I'm proud to say that our team has developed a working solution that has been validated in an animal model at St. Michael's Hospital in Toronto. And we're looking to scale this technology by working with insurance companies so that this becomes the standard of care. In order to scale globally, we'll be tackling the 60 million surgeries that are performed annually around the world. We aim to obtain FDA approval by early 2021 so that we're ready for hospital sales later that year. Right now, today, I'm asking you for help to introductions to general surgeons and colorectal surgeons who can help us get through the next phase of our testing, which will involve clinical studies where we'll be testing in patients early next year. We're also looking for early-stage life science VCs, so if you have any introductions to any, I'd appreciate the introduction. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amr. Can I ask, what's been the biggest milestone to date for you folks with Nerve?
Definitely. So as a medical device company, it takes a lot of time to develop something that can be used in patients. Right now, we've managed to demonstrate that our device can work in an animal model, and we've completed a feasibility stage of testing where we've tested in 5 different pigs to date, showing that the device can pick up on leaks within 3 minutes. So just to give you a perspective, right now, the current standard of care, it can take 2 to 3 days to pick up on some of those leaks. We were able to detect them within less than 3 minutes. So we think that's our biggest milestone to date.
Amazing. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, last but certainly not least, we have our final pitch of the night from Theresa Salanders of Aura with a 3-minute pitch, and then we're going to ask her a question after that. Theresa, over to you.
Hello, my name is Theresa Salanders, and I'm the founder and CEO of Aura. But I would like to talk instead about my father. My father is my hero, and he's the reason why I created Aura. As an entrepreneur, he's had his share of ups and downs, but no matter what, he's always been there for our family. Why? Because he's tough and he's independent. But he's 77 years of age right now, and unfortunately, life has dealt him a series of blows. My mom passed away unexpectedly. Shortly after that, we nearly lost him to a cancer surgery that went horribly wrong. And when he finally recovered from all of that, now he's dealing with memory issues. My brothers and I tried to talk him into going to a senior's home, but he's still living alone. Why? Because although I say he's independent, really he's stubborn. And so we still worry about him, of course, and we're not alone. hundreds of millions of seniors from across the globe want to age in their home on their own terms. Now, I said to Dad, what about a traditional medical alert device, the help I've fallen and can't get up? He said, I'm not wearing one of those. So I created something that he would wear, or as a discrete wearable safety device that at a press of a button, he can contact all of us instantly where we get his GPS location. Why? Because he's still driving. And if Dad was here today, he would say, I'm not going to wear something that looks like a garage door opener. So we created something that is discreet. Or looks like a belt loop clip, could be worn under your clothing, or is even the beautiful jewelry that I'm wearing today. Now, seniors are not our only customers. We also sell to employers who are looking to keep their employees safe. Parole officers, mental health and addictions workers, realtors, and the like. We've shipped 2,500 units and are on track to do $1 million of sales. We've been featured in publications all over North America, and I'm proud of the most important thing, which is we've already saved 4 people's lives. We're looking for people who either have employees that work alone or in dangerous situations that believe, as we do, that they are the most valuable assets and want to keep them safe. And together, we can save lives. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Theresa. Can I ask around the business of today, where you are, what are you trying to hopefully get to next in terms of your milestones with the company?
Absolutely. Aura has been great for us, and the consumer market has been wonderful, but our fastest growing market is absolutely the B2B and the B2G space. We are fortunate enough to count the federal government of Canada and provincial government agencies. So we're actually on Thursday launching our second brand, which is called SolusGuard, SOLUSGUARD, solusguard.com for the B2B and B2G space.
Congratulations. Well done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that's all for our pitches. And what a tough job to do for entrepreneurs. I tell you, it's not easy coming up here and presenting to obviously His Royal Highness, but also to such a good-looking room of dignitaries and esteemed guests. So you all have some work to do before you get up. I'm going to ask you all right now to start pulling out your phone and think about who you want to represent Canada on the international stage in London. And to help pick the winner, you got to make sure that you vote. So as I mentioned in the beginning, if you haven't been scanned in, you can't vote. So put up your hand and wave your hand. Let the people from pitchatpalace see you so they can help get you logged in. While you're busy voting, we're going to make sure that we highlight a video of the pitchatpalace Canada tour for you to enjoy. And I'll be back up in a few minutes. Vote away.
Right. As always, you make life difficult. So we've got a bit of a problem here. Okay, so let's get the easy one over and done with. There is a People's Choice Award, which is the one that have public vote on through the internet. All right, it's nothing to do with the audience. It's what they have done in terms of their own marketing outside. And the winner of the People's Choice Award is Synergy Disc Replacement. Congratulations. And here's why this gets complicated. You're looking for one, all right? Okay, so you've got 3/3, only in Canada. So I don't know how you've done this, but they've all got exactly the same number of votes. Precision AI, Coastable Biotechnologies, and Synergy Disc Replacement all came equal third. And your first two choices spent the entire voting time swapping from first to second. I mean, it was literally every time we would hit the refresh button, it was a different one. So the organisation decided that you're going to send 2 to London. So, it makes no difference, but O2 Canada and Proof are the 2 that are going to London. Only in Canada could you get that to happen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, whilst they all get themselves organised to come round and have a photograph up here on the stage, could I just say thank you very much indeed to all our entrepreneurs for the enormous amount of effort that they have put in to preparing for this evening. It's been quite a long process over the last couple of months to get to where we are today. And I would just like to pay a debt of gratitude to all their work and to reiterate yet again that we can help all of them just from within, as it were, the pitch organisation. And I'm sure that after this, when you go outside, that you will be in the position to be able to make connections for them, as I suggested right at the very beginning. The 2 other people that I would like to, or the 2 other organisations I'd like to thank are the Governor-General's Foundation, or the Rideau Hall Foundation, and BMO. Without your help, organisation and support, and particularly yours, David, that it has been an amazing feat to get this all together. I've been, what I would describe as listening into the telephone conversations that all the group chats that you've been having with Amanda, because we just had to move offices at Buckingham Palace, so I can hear everything that is going on in her office. So I know exactly how much the communication has been going on, and I've been listening to what you've done. And both of you, BMO and Rideau Hall, thank you very much indeed. We are really appreciative of your support. And if anybody else wants to come along and help us, because this is only going to get, I think, bigger. You've seen this evening some of the really brilliant innovation and entrepreneurial activity that is going on in Canada. And if we can go on to showcase this to more people, and to Canadians particularly, of what you are doing and what you are creating, then we are doing our job. Our job now is to take the businesses, help them grow, and take some into the global market if that's what they would wish to do. So thank you all very much indeed for coming this evening. There is a session outside, but I do believe our winners that are here. Come along. Well done. Congratulations. Well done. 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 Just move over a little bit. Stop there.
Okay.
Go that way. That's it. There you are. These are some of the ones that you have selected, and I think that they're absolutely outstanding, and thank you for all the hard work you've done, and for the rest of them over there. Lastly, the one where you put your finger on the, they tried to test Amanda during the whole process, and it didn't work. Her heart rate has gone too high, so once she's afterwards, we'll test her and see what age she is. She's aged a huge amount. Thank you all very much indeed. Oh. Can I just also say thank you to the two RCMP juniors who've done a
Thank you very much, Your Royal Highness, and that concludes our night. But I told you folks in the beginning of the night that you all have to go and buy a book called Ingenious. Well, magic happens every night, and we made magic happen. And those bags that you have in front of you on your chairs, we put the book in there. This is every Canadian must read. So please take it with you, read it, and if you get a chance to see Mr. Johnston, maybe he can sign it for you. I don't know. There you go. Reception downstairs at the Walker Court. Please enjoy, network, mingle, talk to the winners, talk to the participants, and we look forward to seeing you down there. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good night.